Now we transition over to this story, which, we might have somebody with intimate knowledge of this situation or maybe some of the blowback of it. But there's a gentleman who I believe is out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay.
He is a politician, and he has an idea. He's an Ohio representative. His name is Tex Fischer. He has presented a bill.
What's up, Tex?
That would prevent state universities in Ohio from competing in games before 3:30 Eastern time if both teams are ranked in the top 10. But it does not apply to games that are part of a college football tradition. So in other words, the game between Ohio State and Michigan, that one's fine where it's at. It's the other ones he's got an issue with because people are apparently not happy with these early start times in Columbus as part of the Big Noon Kickoff, presentation of their program.
Right. Did I miss something? Did someone announce the time of a game this year?
Is the first one is a Big Noon game, correct?
Well, Fox has the game. Okay. Did they actually announce a time of the game?
No, I'm not sure if they did.
Oh, okay. So it's basically all speculation that they're assuming now because Fox has the game that the game would be at noon. Okay. And I assume Tex, who's a really smart guy, right? He's a congressman for the state of Ohio up in Youngstown. I assume he knows the Big Ten media rights agreement. You know, how much Ohio State's getting paid, an agreement that they not only agreed to, but also the entire Big Ten conference agreed to back when Kevin Warren was the commissioner. So I assume that Tex knows that, fans for the Buckeyes know that this was an agreement that they signed up for in order to make the money they're making every single year from Fox and from their other TV partners in CBS and NBC. So I assume everyone knows that. Like the $75 million a year they get, that's part of it. And I assume they know that because of this agreement, Fox is locked into a noon window, CBS at a 3:30, and NBC at a primetime window. And in order for any of those windows to change, the partners have to work with one another, which gets complicated, and sometimes things have to be given and taken sort of thing. So, for example, this is just hypothetically speaking, if you have a really good game that another network that's got the rights to the Big Ten doesn't have, let's just say I knocked on your door, Jonas, and you're NBC, and I said, hey, I want to move a game to the night, like a primetime game. Well, NBC would be like, well, that's our window. What am I going to get in return for this? Well, we want that game that you have. Well, that becomes a difficult conversation then because, again, in order to move a game, then you're giving up one of the best games you got, which was part of the original agreement. That's going to take away from overall viewership and then your ability to be able to make enough money off of the advertising revenue generated to be able to pay Ohio State, every other Big Ten school for that matter, in the Big Ten Conference for how much you're bringing in. So it's obviously an incredibly complicated situation. What never surprises me is that there's not been a time associated with any of the games that have been announced yet. And yet, this is the reaction.
Just
he's from Youngstown. I mean, if he's a representative of Youngstown, why is he getting involved with what's going on with Columbus? Like, I feel like I missed something.
Yeah, someone actually did this last year. They made a comment about it, and what's surprising to me is that no one from the Big Ten Conference, no one even from the university, wants to actually say to the fan base, like, hey guys, this is the deal we signed up for. Like, we know what we were getting ourselves into. We're working with our partners, our TV partners, to figure out a better solution so we get more atmospheres, like the playoff home game atmosphere, Ohio State versus Tennessee, which I was at, which was awesome. And I hope people understand too, again, there's Big Noon Kickoff, which is our pregame show, which 5, maybe 6 separate times last year was not at a game that was at noon. Like, our pregame show has nothing to do with the slotting of when Fox puts on what games in what time slots. Our pregame show has zero to do with that. There's times where it's correlated, it's matched up, where we'll be there. There's times when it's not.
There's multiple games where we were done with our show, we were flying out, and there was a game that was kicking off 4 hours later at a 3:30 kick somewhere else, whether it was BYU or down in Texas Tech or wherever else it was. Number of times that happened last year, and number of times it's happened through the years. We've done night games. We went to USC Notre Dame, which was a night game. Wasn't even on our air. So there's an odd idea in people's minds that big noon kickoff has something to do with it. We're not. We're a pregame show. It's no different than when College Game Day goes to a campus where it's a night game. We've done the exact same thing. And yet people have this like visceral towards us, like we have any decision on all that. Now, in regards to when the games are picked and where they're slotted and all that, that's Big Noon Saturday. That's Joel Klatt, that's Gus Johnson, that's that crew and how that works. And they don't have any say in it either. That's to all the executives and based on the media rights agreement that, again, the conference and the team signed up for. So I understand the frustration behind it. And trust me, we, like anyone else, love for there to be night games. Like I grew up playing high school football Friday nights. I obviously went through college football, the NFL in prime time. My first start was on Thursday night. First win I ever got was on Monday Night Football. Like, trust me, I understand how awesome night games are. I'm as big of an advocate for it as anyone else. But people need to disassociate like their crazy passion for it and understand there's also like a business model to all this. Like Ohio State has one of the biggest, most robust football staffs and scouting departments and everything else, in part because of how much money they make off the TV revenue. That's a portion of all of that. Without that, you're not going to be able to compete for national championships. You're not going to be able to, raise as much funding as you can for everything else, including NIL, which helped in a big way of building the roster last year. So I would say this would be my message. Be patient. There's been no times that have been given out for these games. And by the way, I know because I'm a part of it, and there has not been a time announced for it. We'll see what happens once we get to the fall.
And by the way, even if there was a time announced, and let's say, I don't know, for example, it was noon Eastern time, people act like this is some low-level time slot that doesn't get eyeballs. Like, so you're getting paid and you're getting seen. Like, I know it's not prime time, but let's not pretend like you're throwing them on in the middle of the night and they're competing with Hawaii for attention and views. Like people watch these games. Like the numbers, the ratings prove it, and for some reason there's complaint. Like I don't get it. I really do not understand. Like I could kind of understand Oklahoma's AD bitching a couple of years ago because the games were starting at 11 a.m. I kind of get that. But still, same thing. You're getting paid. People are watching. This is a big platform for your program to be featured. Why complain at all? If you want to complain, go talk to the Pac-12 or whatever the hell's left of it, or go talk to one of these other schools.
And this, what was odd to me last year.
Jesus.
And what was odd to me last year, not to take a shot at Penn State, but it was announced before the season which game would be the whiteout. And it was in part because of when the Ohio State-Penn State game fell, which Fox had the right to, and the window at the World Series. So there's not a ton you can do when you have got multiple major things going on your network that you like to showcase, which, if I'm not mistaken, was what, Yankees-Dodgers?
Yeah. Small markets, so that middle of
small
America,
markets, like no one cares about that. So
upset with y'all, boy.
Yeah, and they were upset. But again, they should have been upset about what ordaining that game, the whiteout game versus Washington at the beginning of the season. Like it wasn't a surprise. Everyone knew that was coming at the beginning of the season when the schedule was announced.
Yeah, it was in the media. I mean, it was talked about.
So that was what was odd about it too. Is it was like people were surprised by it. It's like, oh, it's Ohio State, Penn State.
They weren't surprised. They just, like, Pennsylvania people like being upset at stuff. Like, that's it. Like, it's that simple.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Lee, can you put that in Grok? Like, put it in Grok. Do Pennsylvania people like being upset about stuff?
Being upset at stuff.
What's odd to me, though, is did the Penn State fan base get upset when they had to play SMU or on the early game in the playoff? Did they get upset about that?
I think they were just so excited that we were in the playoffs. Right. You know,
But it is a little odd, though,
and
right?
against
like,
a team against a team that we thought we could win our first ever game in Beaver Stadium. So there's that too.
They were too cold to complain.
Excited. It wasn't like we had Ohio State or Oregon coming in round one to play against us. So I don't think people were complaining that we had a cold day in State College playing against SMU at any time. The fact that we were playing, I think that was that was good. So, but the whiteout hits different now. The people are very protective over.
And by the way, no one's arguing
plays out.
Hey,
But it,
up top, Brady.
what goes on with it.
Yeah, up top again.
It's not. It's like not related to white people.
Oh,
per
it's
se,
not?
Jonas.
Damn.
No. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, why would I go? Why would I go to the whiteout? I was there. Been there last.
You like
2
white
years,
people, don't you?
Of course. It has nothing against white out, though. I mean, it has nothing to do with white.
You imagine
white
somebody just turned on the radio just now going to work.
Like,
and the
you
first
like
thing they
white
hear is,
people,
You
LaVar?
like white people, don't you?
Racist.
You like whites, don't you?
Racist.
I'm just like everybody else. I like some of them. I don't like some of them. I mean, that goes for all of them.
I had a buddy tell me
Goes for
a
all
great way of addressing society at this point. He's like, well, what would you call me? He goes, I hate everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It could be white, it could be anything else. He goes, I hate everyone. I'm like, well, at least, you're equally applying your hate out there if you just hate being around people nowadays.
Lee, do you have grok results on Pennsylvania people?
I do indeed. I put in the prompt you had asked, do Pennsylvania people like being upset about stuff? And I got a very prompt, short answer from Grok, this being, Pennsylvanians, like any group, vary wildly in their temperament, but there's no evidence that they're uniquely fond of being upset. The state's culture
yes, there
spans
is.
gritty Philly sports fans who will boo their own team to laid-back Amish communities to Rust Belt towns with legit economic gripes. If anything, their upset might be loud pragmatism. Think Pittsburghers grumbling about potholes or Eagles fans venting cathartically. Posts from PA users often show pride in local identity, cheesecakes, Steelers, etc., over chronic complaining. People here deal with real issues, floods, job loss, opioid crisis, so any frustration is more contextual than a love for misery.
Let me drop that AI in a couple different places in Pennsylvania and see if it comes back with that same conclusion. See, that's the problem with AI that they got to fix, is that the AI has to be able to understand the realness of what situations present, not the factual information that you can grab from scanning the entire internet for all the database of information that it can do in the quickest time.
AI might not
that
be
exists.
familiar with the critique of James Franklin locally there,
or Mike Tomlin, or the coach. Who's the coach in Philly again? What's his name?
Oh, Sirianni.
Sirianni.
Yeah.
I mean, bruh, the dude was coming off of a Super Bowl loss, and they were talking about this man was on the hot seat for his job. That's Pennsylvania. Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season, won his job. James Franklin hasn't had a losing season and loses to the same two teams every year. They won his job. Like, that's you can't do enough. That's just how we're wired. We're just no excuse type of people. And if something doesn't go the way that we want it to go, even if it does go the way that we want it to go, there has to be more, or we're going to complain about it. It's the weirdest thing, man. It's the weird. I don't know that everybody's like that. I know I married a person from New Jersey. They could be worse. They could be worse in theory than what we are, the Southern Jersey. But with that being said, that's like an extension of Pennsylvania. Like, South Jersey is like the Philly side of New Jersey. They complain with a mix of New Jersey and Pennsylvania in it, and it makes it a little bit more belligerent. And it's just there. It's just there. Like, it's like New Jersey, New York, New Jersey. It's like F off. Like, forget about it. F off. Right? It's just real quick. As a matter of fact, you know, they love putting their business on the tabloids. If you made the cover of the tabloids, like, you're the one that's going to get complained about. But pretty much everybody's too busy doing something else. We got closed down mills. We got a whole bunch of people that are out of jobs, like blue-collar workers, lunch pail, hard hat people. They don't get the same opportunities that people back in the day, simpler forms of living, and we complain. Like, we complain. But we do it. That's the thing. We get up and we do what we got to do, but we will complain your goddamn head off all the way off till it's ready to pop. Like, dude, can you just shut the F up? And that's to one another. We fight a lot, but we love each other. We go drink Iron City, or we go drink beers, go see games and stuff like that. That's why sports are so important to us in PA. Yeah. Because it's like kind of like our only release of the other things that we're complaining about. So if we got to complain about sports, that you're going to get it way worse. Yeah. Shots out to PA.